Are you looking to buy Sony's latest WH-1000XM4s? Whether you're just upgrading from the XM3s or you want the best active noise cancelling headphones, this real conversation is for you. DHRME, made up acronym, real conversations.
Goedendag. There are so many active noise cancelling headphones out there. You have the old guard, the Sennheiser and the Shure, the old audio brands. You have the pioneer of noise cancelling, the Bose, with its two models. You have the Danish contenders, the Jabra and the Bang & Olufsen's. Not to mention a host of Chinese low-cost competitors nipping at Sony's heels.
So it really surprises us when other YouTube channels call the XM4s the king of noise cancelling. Especially because it seems like they haven't reviewed these other headphones or they haven't spent more than 2 days with the XM4s. Alright, rant over.
Okay, so spoiler alert, we've put this thing through its paces, and while we think these are really good headphones, we're not going to say that these are the best ANC headphones for everyone.
You think that the newest always means the best, right? And in many ways, that is true with the XM4s. Even though the headphones look identical to the XM3s, barring some cosmetic differences, the feel in the hand is very different.
Yeah, there's noticeably less creak. And the weight is about the same despite having new components in it. The foamed urethane pads are ever so slightly better cushioned.
Sony isn't pandering to me as a fuckmom, since it doesn't come with some basic features like a dedicated button for muting calls. Sony is advertising clear voice calls with something they call precise voice pickup.
Yeah.
It's not really false advertising, since the XM4s do sound louder than the XM3s.
But in our tests, they really weren't very clear. Check out the detailed tests and comparisons we've done with other active noise cancelling headphones. The link up here or in the description down below. My phone is falling off. But compared to the XM3, the XM4 are bordering on usable, especially if Adrian Morish is to be believed.
You believe it? The XM4s aren't exactly a looker. There are plenty of competitors that make a bigger fashion statement, but it will get you through the day with its safe and understated design.
Yeah, and it has the touch control on the right hand side along with a few buttons on the left. The touch control works quite well. There's about the same latency as the XM3 when you touch it and it responds. So the XM3s did have some problems with the touch controls in colder weather. Maybe we should test that, Kevin. Should we maybe put the XM3s and the XM4s in the freezer?
That's a cool idea.
All right, let's go.
Let's go.
Longer. Wait till the end of the video to see if that worked.
The clamping force isn't very strong on the XM4s, and there's less pressure around the jaw. I also felt that there was more space in the ear cups and overall less heat generation.
I felt nothing.
But again, there are plenty of other more comfortable premium ANC headphones out there.
The XM4 is more than just its extras, but if you watch Sony's marketing, it seems like it's an extravaganza. Here are some of the highlights. Number 1, speak to chat.
Yeah, so when you start talking, it will pause the music and you'll be able to hear your surroundings. You can turn it off by tapping a button or setting a timeout in the app.
And Sony's built in enough smarts that it doesn't get activated by other people's voices. However, if you're a laugher or a sing-alonger, you may not like it that much.
If you don't like speak to chat, you can turn it off in the app or by pressing 2 fingers down on the right ear cup.
Yeah. Number 2, quick attention.
Does the same thing as speak to chat, but more of a cover your ear to chat? Yes, Sony. We're giving you free marketing tips here on DHRME.
Subscribe if you haven't already.
And it does this only as long as you keep your hand on your right ear cup.
And if you didn't have enough ways to automatically stop your music, Sony now has a proximity sensor inside the ear cup which pauses your music once you take them off. The same sensor also switches off your headphones if they have not been used for a while. And out of all the gimmicks, somehow this simple thing was one of the handiest features that we experienced. And in terms of Bluetooth range, we did a test. Here's the result.
All right, guys, we're getting out of here. So Here is my iPad.
I have the XM4 on me.
Yeah, it's a good stable connection over here. And that's my iPad in the distance.
And the biggest experience improvement of them all is multi-point connection. Yeah, that's marketing speak. It's more like a 2-point connection. So it can simultaneously connect to 2 devices and you can switch on the fly. And in our test, this worked fine, just like other headphones that have this feature. It's not perfect, but Sony has finally reached parity with its competition. You will, however, lose the ability to listen in the highest sound quality if you use this feature. But more on that in the audio section.
Hey, we're in the audio section.
We have arrived.
So let's start with the minor things. Sony has done away with a couple of features in the app, the sound position control and the surround VPT. I like these features, but I don't think too many people are going to miss them. They've also introduced a newer version of their upscaling feature called DSEE. So what this does is if you have lower quality music files like MP3 files, it'll automatically try to fill in the gaps and try to make it sound nicer. Okay, let's talk codecs. What's a codec? Just think of it as the invisible wire that connects your headphones to your audio device. It is how audio is transmitted wirelessly. And there are many different types of codecs. And here's a list of codecs ranked from the best possible sound quality to the not so great sound quality. And if you notice, the Sony WH-1000XM4s has LDAC on board. So you are sorted, right? Not quite.
LDAC also isn't just one thing. LDAC swaps between fixed bit rates of 330, 660, and 990 kbps depending on available signal strength. You can make the most of LDAC only if you're not an Apple fanboy. Sorry, but your iPhones only go up to AAC. So this feature's for you Android users. You keep the device close to you so the connection doesn't drop to a lower transmission speed. And you will need to force the best in developer settings so you don't get the worst LDAC like Google Pixel devices. And you can't use the dual device connection when using LDAC. It's a toss-up between convenience and sound quality.
Yeah. And what is really missing from the XM4s compared to the XM3s are the aptX and aptX HD codecs. Many devices support aptX and aptX HD, and usually that's a better choice if you want a more stable and reliable connection. aptX HD might be a better choice and can sound better than AAC. And the XM4s support an EQ. Now the XM3s had that as well, but this time if you adjust the EQ, it will not bump you down to a lower codec, which is a huge deal if you're buying these headphones for LDAC specifically. And I know people who think that this feature alone makes the $100 difference worth it.
But right, we're getting into the weeds here.
Yeah.
For more information, check out this awesome video by Juan Bagnell, where he talks about when codecs matter and when they don't.
The XM4s are tuned slightly different than the XM3s. Probably the only complaint is that the soundstage is still not very wide. But the bass is tighter, making them less dark than the XM3 while still retaining the great instrument separation. This is most apparent in a track like Marian Hill's Breathe Into Me with big bass hits and low vocals. They're also one of the loudest, so they check a lot of boxes across the board.
And for my kind of heavy metal music, I ain't complaining.
On all counts, the XM4 is a top-tier choice for active noise-cancelling headphones. But the XM3s are just as good.
And another thing the XM4s take over from the XM3s is the beautiful app that just works all the time. And you can adjust noise cancelling at a very fine granularity in the app. I'm not sure too many people do that, but you have a 20-point scale for noise cancelling. You can focus only on voices and not on any other kinds of sounds. Additionally, you also have wind noise reduction, which is my favorite feature because I bike a lot. We are in the Netherlands, so we have to bike. And there's a button called Custom now, which was called NC Ambient in the XM3. And that lets you cycle between different noise cancelling modes. And the middle mode can be your custom mode. So for example, if I like wind noise reduction, the middle mode is mapped to that. So every time I go from full noise cancelling to wind noise to noise cancelling off.
And if you want to hear for yourself how the noise cancelling performs, check out our tests. The XM4s overall performed really well in cancelling out low-pitched, predictable sounds like flight cabin noise, but also at more unpredictable noises like human voices, clanging, and coffee machines in a typical cafe setting. And here's something you wouldn't think of. Using noise cancelling is actually really important to protect your ears. The volume levels when using ANC is generally lower, which means you reduce the overall stress. Check out this video we did on the dangers of noise cancelling for the benefits. 5 out of 6 qualified medical doctors recommend the Sony WH-1000XM4s.
They do not. Get one using the links in the description below. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but helps out our channel a little bit.
Sony's marketing department hit gold with this video. The Sony WH-1000XM4s are for you if you like the understated design of the XM3s but miss the multi-point connection and the struggle of being heard on phone calls. If you need 5 ways to adjust noise cancelling by using, for example, quick attention, speak to chat, the button, the app, or wear detection.
And if you're an Android user and have a device and the know-how to get the best out of LDAC, if you do not need the aptX HD codec, if you're a frequent traveler, wear a mask, and need best-in-class noise cancelling, if you're an audiophile and adjusting the EQ while being still on LDAC is crucial to your listening experience. And last but not least, if you need to use these headphones in colder conditions.
Wait a minute. Are they still in the freezer?
Okay, we're gonna test it now.
En dan gaan we maken.
Ja, met Albert Heijn.
Ja?
We hebben uw pakketje gevonden.
Oké, goed. Kom maar
Je
langs.
komt zo tegen tussen 1 en half 2, kan dat?
Ja, is goed.
Oké, want we zijn een hele andere kant van